Game underway here, and Whitehaven get first touch of the ball, and Kyle Amor will charge it up, and strong run from Amor into the chest of Daniel Heckenberg. Suspect this might be quite fiery early on as well. Oh, and fumble early on as well. And it was Johnson who put the ball down.
An unfortunate fumble right on Whitehaven's line. Just having a sly little look at the defensive line speed of Widnes. Is that a statement of intent?
There is Motu Tony, forced to pull out at the very last minute because of the hamstring injury. I said it was going to get tasty, it already is. Oh. There's somebody down on the ground, it's Mark Smith. Meanwhile, Howard Hill wants a bit of it. Or is he trying to break it up? I'm not sure.
It was always going to start a fiery contest. See Jim Gannon putting his hands up, saying, "Not me, sir."
Neither team wanting to give the other that mental edge. We'll have another little look at it just to see what happened and who sparked it. I think that man might have been in the middle of it. Oh, it's Howard Hill and Jim Gannon exchanging pleasantries. Just at the bottom of the screen, you might see Mark Smith take a tumble.
Well, the referee in consultation with touch judge as to who was the guilty party.
Oh, yes, there it is, Howard Hill. He's laying that marker down. Jim Gannon, you're not coming here and having all your own way.
You threw the first punch, the penalty's against you. Calm down, that's your warning.
Calm down is the message from referee Robert Hicks to Howard Hill, and he's going to speak to Jim Gannon now. And let's just hear what this one's all about.
Listen, I'm in charge now, right? As we went in the scrum, I told you both, because I could see what you were both going to do. He's thrown the punch, it's your penalty. You didn't react, don't make sure you don't.
In defence of Howard Hill, I think Jim Gannon just has a bit of a tug, and I think the referee Robert Hicks spotted it rightly, had a word with them, but Howard Hicks thought, I'm not having that.
So the penalty goes in favour of the Widnes Vikings, so that's a knock-on early on from Whitehaven, and then the penalty, and they're already under pressure from a Widnes Vikings side looking to turn around their form as well. They might be through to the Northern Rail final, but as far as the championship goes, it's been a bit hit and miss of late for the Widnes Vikings. But they're in a good position here. Here's Lee Duran, who wasn't in the original starting lineup, but then came the problem with Dean Gaskell. And the Widnes coaching partnership tonight to Stuart Wilkinson and Mick Cassidy, just having to reshuffle things. There is Mick Cassidy in charge this evening on the sidelines.
A lot of experience with that man, Mick Cassidy. Been in the game a hell of a long time. Played at the highest level with Wigan and Widnes. After a spell at Barrow.
Daniel Heckenberg is having to have treatment. I think he's got a cut. I'm not sure whether that was a legacy of that little skirmish a few moments ago, but Heckenberg having treatment at the moment, and then it's Widnes' turn to put the ball down. Well, the error from Thomas Coyle.
Well, do you know what, Bill? That might be Whitehaven's ploy tonight. Get into the faces of these Widnes players. Thomas Coyle, he tries to use good catch technique, get your hands out in front, catch it early, but Kyle Moore right up in his face, and just maybe a touch of intimidation about this Whitehaven team tonight.
Well, I mentioned early on that conditions have been pretty filthy this afternoon in West Cumbria. It has improved. Let's get the update on that from Rod Studd.
Well, as you said, Bill, there was a lot of rain about in the area earlier in the day, a heck of a lot of rain, but really surprised at the quality of the pitch. Had to walk across it before kick-off. It really has held up very, very well indeed. Very firm, no problems with that. Little bit of a light breeze and a little bit of light drizzle going from right to left on the stream, so Whitehaven will have the advantage of that in the first half, and Daniel Heckenberg has been patched up. No problem with that little cut. He's back out there.
Graham Mattinson has put that ball down. Jim Gannon is chipping away there. This one smouldering along very nicely indeed. Could be a lively Thursday night here on Sky Sports.
Well, what's going to happen in this scrum? Both teams are up for this game. Widnes have made a mistake. Whitehaven have made two mistakes, bringing the ball away from the line. Jed Stokes won't be happy with that.
So Widnes virtually monopolising what possession there has been in the opening 3.25 minutes here so far. But it's been a scrappy start.
The number 34 for Widnes, Kurt Haggerty, a relative of the famous Haggerty family. Just watch out for him, he's a very explosive player.
He's Gareth Haggerty's brother, Gareth Haggerty, coming back to fitness. And that's good news for the Widnes Vikings, younger brother of Gareth. And it's Widnes. Eventually Lee Duran extricates himself from that tackle and gets to his feet to play the ball. Coyle, and that's put down by Thackeray. It's a scrappy start to the game here. They can't blame the conditions, really. The rain has eased off. It's the best it has been all day.
For Widnes, if they're going to come away with anything tonight, they need to keep hold of possession. He's been up this end of the pitch for a long time now and keeps squandering away possession.
4 handling errors already. They've gone for the early kick, and Calvert will chase that. Back goes Flynn, and Flynn gets there first, but Calvert there to make the tackle. And I tell you what, not far behind Calvert was the debutant, Lawrence Hamzat, or Loz as he's known to his teammates. That's a tackle by Mattinson, who just upended.
Just lifted it, him above the horizontal angle. Hit him nice and low.
So Mattinson just plotting his copybook at the moment for the Whitehaven side.
Well, he's just trying to make up for the mistake earlier when he lost possession in a tackle from Jim Gannon.
The rain coming down again here. That was another high shot. Howard Hill on Jim Gannon, and Gannon didn't like that.
He'll need to put the ball down if he wants to throw a punch.
And Robert Hicks has got a lot on his plate here this evening.
Well, you can see straight away both teams not taking a backward step. Howard Hill, the enforcer, he's gone too high there on Jim Gannon, gives the penalty away.
He definitely rocked Jim Gannon's head.
Channel your aggression, your team sorts it out.
Like to see whether it was
your
high.
chance, there won't be another one.
Well, that's the warning from Robert Hicks via the captain of the Whitehaven side, Leroy Joe. And it's another penalty to this Widnes side.
And it's okay being aggressive, but you've got to be disciplined.
Do you know what, Tez? I'm going to disagree. I think that was just a good shot. I think the grapple after it was around the neck, but here we go again.
So it was a penalty, and that's what the referee's saying.
Jim Gannon not shirking his responsibilities, driving that ball in. Heckenberg back on the field. He puts his shoulder in. Good charge from him. Johnson with the tackle that time. Here's Coyle. That right forearm strapped after the break he suffered. Flynn. And Whitehaven again on their own try line defending here. Chris Gerrard it is. Gets to his feet to play the ball. Mark Smith, another one who's back after a lengthy injury absence. Heckenberg, well, he was looking for somebody in support. There was nobody there, and he was waiting. Heckenberg plays the ball. It's on the last tackle. Coyle stabs a little kick in. A lovely dribble from Dave Allen, and Allen will claim the try. That was worthy of the World Cup. The skill there from Dave Allen as he just dribbled that ball over the line, but was he onside?
I think he might be offside.
Well, they just want to see from that angle.
That angle
conclusive.
Looks like he might be onside. This is the best one. Oh, it's a close one. It's a good option.
Stuart Cummins is the video ref tonight. Coyle's kick. Allen, has he read that to perfection, or is he just fractionally offside?
That is a very close call, that. I think everybody anticipating that Thackeray around the back will get this ball with a pass. Having a look at the grounding. We might have got the first try of the evening.
Robert Hicks waits for the decision. The try is awarded. And it's try number 7 of the season for the Widnes Vikings captain, Dave Allen. But he has Thomas Coyle to thank, and Coyle, back from injury, immediately making an impact for the Widnes Vikings.
It's a nice little option. He knows that the Whitehaven defence is coming up to meet him. As I say, he's got 2 options. He's got Thackeray around the back. He's got a nice kick. Lovely bit of dribbling there from Dave Allen, who has the presence of mind just to keep his cool, wait for the ball to pop up and post his side's first points.
Now then, Shane Grady, the regular goal kicker in this Widnes Vikings side, 89 to his credit already this season. And despite the wretched conditions which have again enveloped this ground, he's judged that to perfection. The wind again billowing around the ground, the rain coming in from the coast. But Widnes Vikings keeping their heads and going into the lead.
You've got to take your chances in rugby league, and you can't stand back and wait for the next play. Daniel Heckenberg looking to offload that ball. Thomas Coyle organising in back play. He was lucky for Widnes, but the kick ricochet comes off. Dave Allen anticipates where that ball's going and scores the try for Widnes.
Well, Widnes haven't had the best of luck here on this ground in the last few years. They've lost on their last 2 minutes. They did beat Whitehaven convincingly on Easter Monday, but they don't do so well when they come to the west of Cumbria. But they're ahead here by 6 points to 0.
It's a very, very tough place to play. You're playing against the Whitehaven team that's committed. They've got an awful lot of desire, and there's one thing for sure, they will hurt you in defence.
They've got such an ambitious chairman, Dick Raz, an American, very colourful character, has such big plans. Such big plans for this club.
Coyle in possession. And then Gannon, and Gannon has Carl Amor round the throat, or round his throat, I should say. Now here's Calvert. Calvert slips. So too did Dave Allen, but they're both met on the ground.
Well, for both of these teams, it's about keeping the pace of the game up, the intensity levels, not giving anything away, be disciplined, but still be aggressive.
Here's Johnson now, this St Helens player, dual registered. Just think he was playing against Wigan 2 weeks ago. He was on the bench for Saints in that barnstormer of a game the other Sunday night. Now here he is playing for Whitehaven in what could be just as ferocious a game here. Certainly started that way.
That's a good kick, that little fumble. He was facing his own try line, so play on, but a fantastic kick, very intelligent, wanting to play Widnes down on their own line.
This is the furthest downfield Whitehaven have been all evening so far, coming up to 10 minutes gone. And now they're looking to force the error from this Widnes Viking side. Smith finds Thackeray. Dave Allen now. McAvoy with the tackle. Whitehaven glad to see Scott McAvoy back in action. Suffered a very badly broken jaw the last time the Sky cameras were here, in actual fact, back in April against the Barrow Raiders. Thackeray's kick, again a good one downfield, and there is Lawrence Hamzat, this exciting young player, rugby union player, and then switched to rugby league in his student days, played student rugby league via Lancaster University. And Whitehaven coach Jed Stokes has got high hopes of the young man. Admits he's pretty green as Whitehaven get the penalty.
Widnes cannot afford to keep releasing the pressure valve. If they want to get into the arm wrestle with Whitehaven, they've got to be better than that on the floor.
First penalty of the game for Whitehaven, and cheered to the rafters by the Haven supporters.
Matt Gardner, the Widnes winger, just give a little push.
Paul Johnson then drives it in on the first tackle for Whitehaven. Now second from bottom in the championship table, and their tenure in the championship and in National League One under threat after 8 years. One of the long servers in this strata of the competition. Jed Stokes determined that it's not going to come to that. And moving their way upfield. 4 tackles gone, though. It's a good kick into the corner. Calvert will chase it, but too strong.
Calvert asking questions of this Widnes defence. Jed Stokes will be happy with that set of 6. They've got to the kick, chewed up some yards up the middle of the park, taking the game and the battle to Widnes in the forwards.
I think throughout this game, Tez, they've been the instigators, Whitehaven, and although they're behind on the scoreboard, to a certain extent, they're dictating the pace. They were the first to the rough stuff. They're the first to settle down.
Widnes lead by 6 points to 0. They have to go back to September 2007 for the last win here to the Widnes Vikings. Gavin Dodd getting a couple of tries in a 22-18 win that day. As I said, they've lost on the last 2 visits. Gannon plays the ball. Here is Heckenberg, the Scottish international, another one of the senior players that the Widnes Vikings have been missing. Thackeray, Coyle, and Coyle gets away from the challenge of Leroy Joe. Now here goes Varkulis. Varkulis away from Calvert, but Calvert comes back to make the tackle. That's the 5th. And Coyle, little maybe indecision from him as to what he was going to come up with, and in the end it's the crossfield kick which works out well for Grady, and Grady gets it back to Duran, and Gardner puts it down.
It's a shame for Gardner that. There was a bit of confusion on the play before. Thomas Coyle going for the kick. Here's the offload. Lee Duran. Gardner just can't keep hold of it. But from that indecision, and you feel if they play a little bit of off-the-cuff stuff, Widnes might cause Whitehaven some trouble.
The crowd didn't like Grady's challenge off the ball. Here's Rob Jackson now.
I think both sides have been very impressive with the speed of the line when the opposition's bringing the ball away from their own line. They know it's slippy conditions. They're looking for that big hit, trying to force the error.
Carl Amore's short ball didn't do Howard Hill any favours. He was immediately pounced on by Dave Allen.
That is not what you want in these conditions, Bill. You don't want a ball right at the line when there's 2 defenders at you. You want to set your own line.
Little off-the-ball challenge from Kurt Haggerty there. Still a little bit of niggle going on. It's quietened down for the moment. And I'm sure I just heard Robert Hicks tell Howard Hill when he was just alongside him, I'm keeping an eye on you.
The team that will win this game, Bill, will be the team that keeps the composure. It's all right being aggressive, but you can't forget to play rugby.
Gardner plays the ball. Here is Jim Cannon again.
Mattinson came from about 3 out then. They're looking to dominate. Jim Gannon and Daniel Heckenberg getting good numbers in, trying to slow their play the ball down.
Thackeray's pass to Dave Allen, look forward, but play continues. Referee looked to his touch judge there for a decision, but in the end the decision is a penalty against Whitehaven.
The referee had no option then. It was a lovely line. Dave Allen's done that all his career. Beautiful line.
There's the pass. The penalty, though, quickly tapped, and they're already only 5 metres out. Smith, Lee Duran now, and Lee Duran almost stretching out. Great ball away. And Grady gets the try, handed to him on a plate by Lee Duran, who seemed to be all tied up there by the defence, but he managed to reach out and virtually hand the ball to Shane Grady to give him his 11th try of the season.
That try all came about from this break. It was a line ball, and Dave Allen chose to keep possession, tries to get up. Whitehaven give the penalty away. And from this point on, Widnes go for the throat. Lee Duran with his arm free. One of the golden rules in rugby league when you're in defence, you must secure the ball. Don't allow your opposition to get the ball away. Lee Duran. But Shane Grady in for a vital try.
Grady then will try and convert his own try, but tricky conditions for him. Tricky conditions for everybody as the rain comes down again. Only 4 days of rain in this part of West Cumbria in the last month, and this is one of them. So Grady has that one on target. 2 more points for the Widnes Vikings, who are now 12-0 up, and Grady, the try scorer, converting that as well. And Widnes, in need of the victory here this evening, are off to a good start.
Well, Howard Hill will be disappointed though. He was saying to the referee that that pass was forward. They were slow on the retreat. Our man Jed Stokes, you've got to play the play that's in front of you. Derry Elbeck giving the penalty away, creating the field position, and good strength by Lee Duran to stand up, offload the ball as soon as Los Hamza come in, offloaded the ball for Widnes to score the try.
This Whitehaven side low on confidence and low on numbers as well. I mentioned earlier on that Lawrence Hamzat becomes player number 41 they've used this evening with Motu Tony dropping out in the warm-up. It hasn't helped their cause, and this run really is threatening their status. 3 points adrift of 9th place Dewsbury, and Haven haven't won a championship game since April the 11th when they actually won at Dewsbury. So they desperately need to get things back on track. They've lost the last 5 at home. They haven't been playing that badly, according to Jed Stokes. They were ahead at half-time against Toulouse at the weekend, collapsed in the second half, and the conditions had a lot to do with that because it was stiflingly hot. And they led Sheffield Eagles in the last home game with 5 minutes to go, and they blew that one, conceding 12 points in those last 5 minutes. And that doesn't do your confidence any good.
And as Barry said before, they were very, very unlucky to not get the result against the Lee side. It was only for a late try by Robbie Paul that got them the result. But for the Widnes coaching staff, they'll be happy with the start. The 7 losses that they've had this year, they've lost every first half. The second half, they've won the game, but the game's played over 80 minutes.
That was a great shot then. Lovely contact. Rocked the head of the Whitehaven player right back. And again, really stepped it up after that try, Widnes.
Now that was Jim Gannon. Well, if the intention was to try and take some of the sting out of Jim Gannon, it hasn't worked, and the kick out on the full is even worse for Whitehaven. Leroy Joe getting all wrong.
Well, there's the hit from Dave Allen, and it's Dave Allen who puts a lot of pressure on Leroy Joe. He kicks that ball out on the full.
You're right, Tez, he gets stuck in at marker.
Daniel Heckenberg is going to have to go off again. He's got blood streaming down from a cut somewhere near his eye, I think it is.
Well, the ex-Harlequins forward is not sure that he's took the challenge and he's took the battle to this big Whitehaven side. Gone off for a breather, get a bit of treatment.
Widnes ahead by 12 points to 0. They have head and feet at this scrum.
I wonder if that's Howard Hill. I wonder if that's the referee putting Howard Hill in the back row because he doesn't want any more altercations.
Ben Kavanagh, the man who's come on in place of Heckenberg. So Widnes, 2 tackles gone in this set of 6, well set to maybe trouble this Whitehaven defence again. Here's Jim Gannon once more, and Howard Hill again in there. About 25 metres out now. Thomas Coyle, Thackeray, here's Flynn, and Flynn steps out of the first tackle. McAvoy let him slip from his grasp. Here's Coyle now. Coyle goes down the blind side. Allen looking for another one and getting it. Dave Allen gets his second try of the night. And Thomas Coyle back in the Widnes Vikings side after 3 months out through injury. And Mick Cassidy in charge of the Widnes Vikings tonight, delighted by that and delighted by Coyle's contribution already. He's pulling the strings for this Widnes Vikings side, and the rest of the team are dancing.
Well, Whitehaven keep punishing this right-hand attack of theirs. Left-hand edge for Whitehaven. What about that for footwork? Dave Allen keeps his foot, hasn't got a strong enough grip. Leroy Joe just keeps moving, keep dancing. A little rinky-dinky-do. 4 more points for Widnes, possibly 6. And we highlighted Dave Allen's work from dummy half, from marker position, sorry. And he pressurised Leroy Joe, who kicked the ball out on the full. Attack and defence from Dave Allen tonight, great stuff.
Shane Grady will look to maintain his 100% record here. The kick's getting trickier though. This one favouring his round the corner kicking style. Grady, has he got this one on target as well? He has. And to think they were missing a goal kicker when we last saw the Widnes Vikings. And Grady, the man, he's kicked another one, and Widnes are already 18-0 up here at the recreation ground. And Dave Allen has got 2 of those tries.
Well, Thomas Coyle's anticipation of that play when he went into dummy half, he was probing, he was looking up. He saw that Leroy Joe was late coming across the back of the ruck. He got out past the ball to that man, Dave Allen, who goes in for his second try of the night.
So Whitehaven, well, they've hardly been down that other end of the field. They've spent most of the opening 21 minutes in their own half defending or conceding penalties. And Widnes have had to do very little defending. They're in possession, the Vikings, on the 20-metre line. And here's Grady. That looked high on Grady. And it was a knock-on in actual fact. And Johnson's tackle did the trick. Mattinson was in there as well, low down.
Well, again, bringing the ball away from the line. You can see, is that ball stripped by Mattinson? I think it is. Shane Grady's been hard done to there.
But Whitehaven, head and feed in a promising position. Here's Scott McAvoy now. Still getting his way back to fitness, having recovered from that broken jaw. Johnson. Big hit on Paul Johnson from Ben Kavanagh. Mattinson across the field. It's pretty sluggish so far from Whitehaven. Just building a bit of pressure on this Widnes side. Rudd. Now they've got the opportunity to get the ball wide, and they do, but has Loz Hamzat got in? Or was that a great tackle from Paddy Flynn? I think Flynn has worked wonders for the Widnes Vikings there, because Hamzat was hurtling towards the corner.
I agree, Bill. First looks. What about this? Absolutely outstanding defensive work.
That is a big play from Paddy Flynn. He's come from the other side of the pitch to prevent Loz Hamzat from scoring this try.
And do you know what? Hamzat does everything right. He gets down low. If you were being picky, you could say, put the ball in your left hand, mate, but that's just great work. Absolutely outstanding. 18-0 up and still desperate to prevent.
And Flynn depriving the debutant Lawrence Hamzat of a try.
And they say a defence like that is as good as scoring a try. Paddy Flynn has come from nowhere, threw his body into that tackle, prevented that try from going in by Loz Hamzat. But that shows how dangerous this Whitehaven side are. They will take the chances when they get down this end of the park.
But that's encouraging for the Whitehaven team. Jed Stokes will look at that and think, well, we've managed to find a way of troubling the Widnes defence. Couldn't quite finish it off. Now then, can they put some more pressure on the Widnes defence? Here is the man of the moment, Paddy Flynn, who made that tackle. It's the Whitehaven defence that's causing the concern. Well, either way, they're really underperforming in the championship. They've got the worst scoring record in the competition with just 196 points from their 14 games. They've only managed 33 tries. Widnes do have a problem, though. We've seen Daniel Heckenberg coming and going with a cut. I think Rod's got more.
Set of the game that he picked up that elbow to the mouth. It was a double whammy actually, because it split his mouth and there's a couple of stitches in that, and 4 stitches just under his eye as well. But the Widnes physios are confident he'll be back out there, and I don't think Widnes are too bothered about this weather either, which is taking a turn for the worse, because they're 18 points up and that lead is worth its weight in gold in these conditions. I think we might see Widnes kicking early in the tackle count with their 3 very good tickers in Thackeray Coyle and Mark Smith. Look out for that, Bill, too.
Weather taking a turn for the worse. He hasn't been that brilliant all day. A bit of a shock to the system when you've come kitted out for summer, like some of us have.
I'm very disappointed, me, Bill. Turned up to West Cumbria expecting beautiful weather, as I always get. I turn up and I think, I didn't see this in the brochure.
You weren't the only one. That's a good kick by the tiniest margin. Rudd it was who found touch.
He's a very clever player, Carl Rudd. All he needs is a bit of field position. Come the back end of the set, he needs a quick play of the ball so he can kick on the front foot under no pressure.
He's got superb game management, Carl Rudd, but what he needs is a platform. His forwards in this opening 25 minutes, I think, have been outplayed by the Widnes forwards. As I say, Whitehaven were the instigators. They started the rough stuff, then they settled down, but Widnes have been smart with what they've done. Isolating players, Just look at Thomas Coyle at acting half-back. He's pointing at who he wants his players to run at.
Kavanagh now, as Widnes cross the 30-metre line in their own half. Here's Chris Gerrard, distinctive blue boots. And now inside his own 40, Thackeray with the kick. Good one that finds acres of space, and Derry Eelbeck is back there to field it.
And look at that kick chase. Widnes's kicks, they've been finding the ground, enabling the chase to get by the yards up the pitch. And again, looking to dominate in that ruck.
It's Hamzat with the run. Just make out the sound of Jake's hunting horn from the terraces. But Widnes have the scent of victory here, I think.
I had a blow of that horn before, Bill. I nearly gave myself a heart attack.
It certainly wasn't a vuvuzela, that's for sure. That's a good run. That is a great run. And it's got Whitehaven over the halfway line, but there are problems in back play. Rob Jackson, meanwhile, as play continues, is being helped off the field as Rudd's kick goes across field.
That tells its own story. Varkulis not content to let that ball go off the island. He wants to get it in his hand and a chance to run with the ball.
Well, Rob Jackson's staying on in actual fact, but it's a knee problem. So Widnes in possession. Here's Matt Gardner. Gardner tackled by Johnson. Dave Allen up to the 40-metre line. Kirk Netherton is on. Suddenly they've got lots of options as far as playmakers go to the Widnes Vikings. You've got Netherton out there now, Thackeray as well, although they've come up with a knock-on.
Well, there's Dave Horton, the first touch of the game. He won't be happy with that. Trying to buy yards up the middle of the park as he's getting up to play this ball. Oh.
Was there a knock-on?
I'm not sure there was a knock-on there.
Conditions are tough, visibility not that good. So it's Whitehaven who have possession now.
Shot. Whose visibility's not that good? I hope you're not having a go at the referee.
Just saying the conditions aren't that good. But Whitehaven inside the Widnes half, but that's a good shot and the ball comes up. Well, and it was Netherton with the tackle.
I think, sorry to correct you, Bill, I think it was Dave Horton who's made up for his error originally, if there was an error.
That's what you want off a player. You want a reaction. You want him to try to make up in a positive way. Jed Stokes knows they've squandered that possession. The penalty here for Widnes. Whitehaven breaking too early from the scrum. Kyle Bibb
trying to redeem the situation there, Bibb was, and instead conceded the penalty.
But these kill you. You can see he just gets round the road trying to put Chris Gerrard under pressure, but you're doubling up your efforts and you can't do that in these conditions.
Lee Duran, strong run onto that ball. Mark Smith is another player to have picked up a cut. He's been replaced, was probably due a breather anyway.
I like the contrast that Widnes have got in the hookers. Kirk Netherton, this is what he's good at. He pops out and really asks questions.
Thackeray takes the tackle on the 10-metre line. And he's knocked on. He's got eagle eyes this evening as Robert Hicks, not missing a thing.
There's no arguments from him, so there's a fumble somewhere. There it is. Poor grip on the ball. You expect the ball carrier to respect position, get a good grip on the ball. It's so important to get your thumb round it.
Well, the scrum eventually forms. As Robert Hicks said, there was a bit of a mother's meeting going on as to who should pack down for the Widnes Vikings.
Calvert is the man to get the ball in his hands. Lightning fast pace.
Two tackles gone. Whitehaven. Rob Jackson, I think, is again struggling as play continues. Johnson plays the ball. Leroy Joe. And they're offside of the Widnes Vikings, and a penalty to Whitehaven, greeted like it's the final minute of the game and it's the one that could decide it.
That was a good line by Andy Thornley, right up, back up the guts. He knew that there was a question over the Widnes defensive line and made Robert Hicks make that decision.
That looked high on Johnson, it was, says the referee. It'll be another penalty. And it was Kurt Haggerty, the culprit. So promising position as Chris Smith takes the tap.
Just plants his feet, Kurt Haggerty. You can't afford to do that. On your toes, keep light.
Kyle Bibb plays the ball. Now this is promising as Dexter Miller takes it in. They've got numbers out wide, they've got numbers in the middle as well. 3 tackles gone though, and Widnes on their own try line as Leroy Joe comes back up the middle. Chris Smith weighs up the options, goes to his left. Here's Rudd now. Rudd stabs a little kick in. Oh, it's ricocheted and it's come up kindly for Richard Varkulis. That could have gone horribly wrong.
Well, it comes off Richard Varkulis initially. Wasn't taking any chances whatsoever. The Whitehaven defence chasing up strong. You can see lose it there. Dexter Miller goes for it. Get out of there. Have a bit of that. I'm not going to make a mistake behind my own try line.
So goal line dropout. First of the game. And not the prettiest either. Just reaches the 40-metre line where Derry Eelbeck fields it. Gives it to Calvert. Calvert. Tackled by Haggerty. Good strong run by Kyle Bibb.
No support with him though, Bill. Nobody pushing up, and again.
Here's Thornley now. And Whitehaven looking for some points before half-time. They trail by 18 points to 0 here. If they can get something on the scoreboard before the break, that's going to lift their confidence. But it's very hesitant from Whitehaven. Stacked out on their right-hand side. Short pass comes in. And it all comes to a horrible end. Knock on it was by Danny Barker.
Good work by Shane Grady. Watch how just gets the shoulder in. There it is. They're nominating in defence, Widnes. They're not waiting for them to make the plays. They're pushing off. They're not getting sucked into the ball carrier.
Widnes Vikings needing the win. They haven't won in the championship since Batley on April the 25th. Hard to believe. Defeated at Featherstone last Sunday. Again, a close game, but defeated nonetheless. So a win needed tonight. A win would put them back inside the top 6 at the expense of Toulouse. Here's Chris Gerrard now, up to the 40-metre line. 4 tackles gone. Quick play the ball though. Ben Kavanagh, Coyle, little show of the ball. And Coyle over the halfway line, but that's the 5th tackle. And that was a knock-on. Well spotted by the crowd below us. Has been sloppy at times in this first half from both sides.
It is very wet and slippery. Oh, Danny Baker's got his hands in there. He needs to go to confession on Sunday for that one. There's a hand in there. Thomas Coyle and his Widnes teammates need a good reaction now.
Oh, and Leroy Joe got that ball round the corner, and his teammates weren't exactly anticipating that. Calvert redeemed the situation, but he and Eelbeck were setting up for the next play.
You're the likes we're seeing Calvert take that at pace. One of the quickest players in this division, Craig Calvert.
McAvoy plays the ball. Rudd, long pass out wide, very casually taken by Barker. But he took it nonetheless, one-handed. Again, they're looking on their right-hand side. Four tackles gone in this set of 6, and that pass, well, sits up okay for Leroy Joe, and that's a Hail Mary pass from him that finds Scott McAvoy more through luck than judgment. That's the 5th tackle. And Leroy Joe will hoist this one. One for Paddy Flynn to deal with. He's lost that one, and Calvert will have the simple task of picking up and going over. He knocks on, and so they'll come back for the knock-on by Flynn. But that was an opportunity for Craig Calvert.
A towering kick by Leroy Joe. Put Paddy Flynn under pressure. Calvert, he just couldn't pick that ball up to go in the corner. Score Whitehaven's first try.
What an opportunity that was just before the break for Whitehaven to get points on the board. Instead, they get head and feet at the scrum, but what can they do with this? Carl Rudd.
Not sure what they're doing with these passes, Bill. They're like the Hensingham Globetrotters at the minute, throwing the ball anywhere.
But that's a good run. Right under those posts now. And Widnes, right at the death at the end of this first half, defending their try line, defending this 18-0 lead. Again, a stray pass, but the ball over the top will come back to Whitehaven.
Oh.
And here's Calvert. Calvert's chipped ahead. It's back to one. He didn't need to do that. Well, they'll get the goal line dropout, but they'd have got another set of 6 there.
It's hard for Craig Calvert. He obviously hasn't heard the call. Just content to get the goal line dropout. As I say, Craig Calvert's one of the fastest players in this division. He's more tall than a Roman sandal.
So they haven't got any points, Whitehaven, but they forced 2 goal line dropouts from this Widnes Viking side, and Eelbeck is through, and Eelbeck, just one man to beat, and he'll get there. Flynn couldn't stop him, and the Widnes Vikings defence for the first time tonight was vulnerable. Just switched off a bit maybe, but whatever it was, Eelbeck took advantage and gets his 7th try of the season at just the right time. The clock running down for Jed Stokes' side at the end of this first half, but they forced the pressure, they got the goal line dropout, and from it, Derry Eelbeck has capitalised.
Well, here's the goal line dropout from this pressure and from this position. Derry Eelbeck collects the ball and runs straight and hard. Just watch this. A nice little show and go. And again, just wrong foots the defence. And knows he's just a midge's ear away from the line, and all he needs to do is get it down.
Eelbeck, the try scorer then. And there'll be even more applause from this recreation ground crowd if Carl Rudd can land this from way out on the touchline to close the gap with half-time approaching. It was a difficult one though, and Rudd was fading away and just to the left of the post. But Whitehaven are off the mark anyway. Whitehaven 4, Widnes Vikings 18. Eelbeck the try scorer for the Haven.
Well, the last 10 minutes they've been very good, Whitehaven. Anthony Thackeray there, not managing to tackle Derry Eelbeck. Just power and strength from the fullback to go in for that try. But the last 10 minutes they've really got into this game. They've not given penalties away. They've run straight and hard, just like Bibbs do it now.
Carl Bibb, a bit of a nomad really, on loan from Wakefield, and it's his 4th loan spell of his career. He's been on loan at Harlequins, at Hull Kingston Rovers and at Sheffield, and now here he is at Whitehaven. So that's just given Widnes Vikings a bit of a warning. They can't afford to let their guard slip if they're going to hold on to this lead. Into the last minute of the first 40 here at a very wet recreation ground. Here's Leroy Joe. Leroy Joe eventually tackled by Dave Allen. Allen stopping his progress and then finishing him off at the 2nd attempt. That'll be the turnover. Nice idea from Carl Rudd, but couldn't get the ball back on the inside, and it is the turnover.
Well, building in confidence and looking to play every time they get the ball. They're not content with just kicking it into the corner and looking to force the error. They're looking to play on the last tackle.
Here's Lee Duran. And Duran takes the tackle as the hooter sounds. And the players head for the sanctuary of the dressing room, with the Widnes Vikings in good spirits, leading by 18 points to 4 and looking for a double over this Whitehaven side, having beaten them in the championship on Easter Monday convincingly, 48-18. This one turning out to be a lot tougher. Whitehaven always are on their own patch, but good work so far from this Widnes Viking side.